Have you ever wondered how to make really thick acrylic paint stand off the canvas? Well, today I'm going to show you a few tips on how to make your own impasto gel, coming up. Hi again there guys, Emma here from Paint and Pinot, giving you some top tips for all things art and design, and today we're going to look at how to create your own impasto gel so that you can paint a painting like this where you have that really gorgeous thick impasto style paint. Impasto being where it's really thick, so a lot of artists who use palette knives, for example, or oil paintings will use this technique to have quite an impressionist appeal to their painting. So today we're going to show you a couple of tricks, and all it involves is quite simply some baby powder and some PVA glue with some powder atmosphere to go as well.
Is he okay?
So the first thing we're going to do is simply mix your PVA glue and your talcum powder into just a basic plastic cup like this. I always work with plastic when I'm using PVA glue because the great thing with PVA, due to the makeup of its compound, is that when it sets hard into plastic, you can just simply peel it away, so you can reuse the plastic container, whereas it's really hard to clear PVA glue from any other type of container. So to start off making your DIY impasto gel, we're just going to start with some regular baby powder. So I tend to go 1 part talcum powder to 1 part PVA glue. It's fairly hit and miss, obviously depending on how thick you want your impasto gel to actually be. The thicker it is, the harder it is obviously for you to manipulate the acrylic paint, but then you're also going to get much more of a lovely thick impasto effect. So we're just going to add some regular PVA glue. And then we're going to give that a good stir. I'm actually just using a plastic knife here, so you don't want to have anything that's going to be too much of quality. Give that a good stir in. So you can see it's starting to get a little bit thicker. I'm actually just going to add a little bit more talcum powder into there. It really is by feel. I quite like my impasto gel to be quite thick. Obviously, as you're adding your acrylic paint to it, you're going to thin it down anyway. Alright, and then we've got quite a nice consistency there. So the first thing we're going to do is compare the pre-made ready gel with the homemade DIY effect that we've just knocked up together here. I'm going to use a small palette knife for the homemade gel, which I'm just going to put onto here. And I'm going to use the larger palette knife for the homemade DIY. What you'll notice is it's quite warm under the studio lights in here, so obviously the gel's going to go a little bit looser, so it's already gone looser than I wanted it to be. So I might actually add some more talcum powder in there as we go. So if you just get an idea of texture, you can see there, this is a pre-board. And here we have the homemade. What I'm going to do now is add some paint so that you get a really good idea of how the different textures appear. So I'm just going to add some yellow. This is the pre-board. Obviously you'd expect this to work really well, so you can see you can get some nice thick textures going on already. Now we're going to see how that compares to the homemade. So it's pretty consistent, it's pretty effective. The main difference I would argue at this stage is you've got a slight opacity because of the talcum powder to the homemade version. I can make this thicker, obviously by adding more talcum powder to it, but I'm pretty happy with that in terms of an outcome. Bearing in mind this has cost $15 for a fairly small pot. So if I'm going to do a large painting, it's going to cost me quite a lot of money in just buying impasto gel. Now the main problem people have with using DIY products is the longevity of the product. I used to use a lot of sand and a lot of organic materials, but over time those paintings will start to degrade. So it's really important that you add the PVA glue just to add an extra bond to your impasto gel. The main difference is you're going to get a slight difference in shine, but then you can buy high gloss medium gels. You can also purchase quite flat matte impasto gels. So depending on how flat you want that glass to be, you're just going to add more PVA glue to try and achieve the same effect. Alternatively, if I wanted a really high gloss paint finish, I could always use my DIY product and then just add some gloss gel to the product later. So the painting that I've done here, there is actually a step-by-step guide which I'll leave a link down below. But really the whole point of this was just trying to achieve that really gorgeous thick impasto effect, of which you can see some details of here. There you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's video on how to make your own DIY version of impasto gel. Once again, this channel is all about giving you some top tips for all things art and design, but also trying to make things work on a budget if that suits. If you have enjoyed today's video, guys, then please hit that like button just below, as it really does help our channel. And if you'd like to have some more top tips, then we do weekly videos, so hit that subscription button just below and the notification obviously when we come through. This painting, as I said earlier, will be a link down below, so if you want to learn how to paint this painting, you'll be able to do that in a step-by-step guide. Alright guys, hopefully we'll see you next time. Happy painting!